Welcome back to the show. A looming government shutdown could stall services, strain families, and leave tens of thousands of Georgians without pay. The latest figures show roughly 111,000 federal employees in Georgia could be affected by furloughs or job cuts if the government begins its shutdown at midnight tonight. More than 60,000 federal workers in metro Atlanta may see delayed paychecks or unpaid work as services stall. Both furloughed and essential workers would miss regular pay days, straining households until funding is restored. Let's look at the pressure a shutdown will have on the state's economy here with Raymond Hill, Associate Professor Emeritus of Finance at Emory University. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning.
All right. Let's start off with the basics. What does a federal government shutdown really mean for Georgia families' pocketbooks right now?
Well, I think you've said it exactly right, which is that federal workers will miss some paychecks. They'll eventually get paid, but during the shutdown, they won't get paid. And, you know, that's really the main effect on Georgia families.
Yeah, we hear about 111,000 federal workers here in Georgia could be impacted by this. What does that number really mean in real world terms?
Well, okay, so first of all, I think it's more like 70,000 because there are certain postal workers, for instance, get paid because they're on a different system. So it's a little bit smaller than that. Here's the takeaway for me, okay? In the past, this has been a political event, all right? So people, their paychecks are slow for a while, but they end up getting paid. You can't go to a national park for a couple of weeks. But then the consequences of this going on for a long time are very severe. And so the politicians then somebody caves, and they're back to normal. So there's really, in the past, has not been a significant downward economic effect on this. Now we're living in a different world where we've got a president who is much more comfortable with uncertainty, and where his stated objective is to reduce the number of workers and the expenditures in the federal payroll. So he's essentially daring the Democrats to close down the government because he's not going to suffer from that in his own mind. So I don't think we've ever been in a situation where the incentives were this strong to keep the government closed, both from the Democrat side. Schumer's under a lot of pressure from what he did in the spring, and Trump certainly, he's got all the leverage here. So this is very severe because what happens is not only we get those paychecks, but we've got contractors who don't get paid. Federal work stops. People still get their Social Security payments. The mail still goes because those are different systems, all right? But the rest of it, and you think about the country as a whole, where you've got, maybe 2.25 million federal workers who are civilians. And, it's going to be, again, this has the potential for being the first really economic shock of one of these shutdowns.
Wow. So it would happen midnight tonight. How quickly would families here in Georgia feel the squeeze?
Well, they're going to feel it. I don't know when they get paid. Let's say it's Friday of this week. They'll miss that paycheck. Again, Congress has already passed a law that says those paychecks will be made up, but that means people have to live without that cash for however long the shutdown occurs. In the past, that's been probably one paycheck period or two paycheck periods. But as I say, the really severe economic shock comes when that goes on, for longer than one or two paychecks.
Yeah. I got 40 seconds left with you here. Folks outside of the federal workforce, why should they care, and how does this trickle down to the everyday Georgian?
Well, it trickles down because the whole economy is going to slow down as a result of this if it goes on for a long time. Again, in the past, it has not been a big economic event unless you were a federal worker, okay? Everything went back to normal. What people have to keep their eye on here is, are we at an impasse where Trump has no incentive to cave, the Democrats have too much pressure not to cave, and this becomes a 2-month or a 3-month shutdown instead of a 2-week one or 3-week one as we've had in the past.
All right, Raymond Hill, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insight.